How many times do you need to hear something before it sinks into your skull? G'day everyone, Brian here. That's a question that Jesus might want to ask his disciples. It's a question parents might want to ask their children. It's a parent teachers ask their students. How often do you need to hear something? The reason I'm asking that question this morning is because today's Friday. This time next week, we will be celebrating or commemorating a day we know as Good Friday, part of what we in Australia and other Western countries call Easter, a time where we remember the death of Jesus on the Friday and the resurrection of Jesus on the Sunday. And we can't separate those two things. They absolutely belong together. For the disciples, though, it was a surprise. But it shouldn't have been. Throughout his time with them, the 3 years that Jesus spent with them, Jesus had, on occasion, told them exactly what was going to happen to him. That they would go to Jerusalem, he would be handed over to the chief priests, to the Gentiles, he would be killed, and then 3 days later would rise again. Now, understandably, those men who were with him, his followers, couldn't grasp exactly what was going on. But when they finally decided to go to Jerusalem, when Jesus began that final journey to Jerusalem, they knew that it was not going to end well. I expect there was still some hope it would. I expect there was still some desire in them that they would see something change. And we see that in Peter, when Peter says, "Lord, I would die for you." And then Jesus says to him, "Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times before the rooster crows." And then when that happens, we see Peter's heart break and he weeps. So this time next week, we will be commemorating that day, that historic, that fateful, that central day of history when a young Jewish man from Galilee was nailed to a cross and died. But that's not the end of the story, because on the Sunday morning, some of the women who were a part of his followers went to the tomb where Jesus had been laid, and they found it empty. And that's the reason that we celebrate. Not because someone died, but because someone rose again. The death of Jesus, the resurrection of Jesus, both essential to a Christian understanding. But not just his death, the reason for that. Paul writes to his friend Timothy and says, here's a saying worthy of full acceptance: Jesus Christ came into the world to save sinners. How is that done? By a sacrifice. And that sacrifice is Jesus. And friends, I hope you can put your hope into him. Not into yourself, not into a long weekend, but into Jesus. And next week, as we lead up to Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday, I'll say more about that. Have a great weekend. I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.